so hard, it truly is. Sometimes you have to clean up poop and piss. Even sometimes you can't use the restroom. Working 12-hour shifts isn't that fun. And when you come home, you really are spun. And you are wondering if you should quit soon. Nursing's hard and it can take a toll on your mental health. Nursing's hard and it can make you take out student loans and ruin your wealth. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe if you would like the Nursing is Hard song to drop on your favorite music platform soon. What is up, Healthcare Squad? Logan here with Healthcare Stress Relief, the company dedicated to helping you navigate the crazy world of healthcare during these troubling times, helping you with burnout tips and tricks, career transition, and being your friend, holding your hand. I wish somebody would have held my hand when I was a nurse. Not completely held my hand, like still let me do stuff, but helped me out, gave me a pat on the back every now and again. So with that being said, I'm going to dive into the 10 reasons why I quit nursing after 2 years. And you can check out my other video on why I quit nursing after 2 years, but I don't think it was as comprehensive as I could have made it. It was one of my first videos. It got about 67,000 views so far. So I'm going to make this one longer so I can dive more into it because it's something that you guys are really resonating with. So the first reason, which most of you, if you've already seen this, already know, I started developing symptoms. So that was in the form of eczema, lower back pain, plantar fasciitis, and depression. And I've never been a depressed person, but when you start to feel depression, if any of you have gone through it, it's not fun. And the biggest thing for me was the skin issues. So I'd be waking up with puffy eyes. I'd be waking up with a rash all over my face. It almost looked like an autoimmune condition. It was eczema, but to me it looked like an autoimmune condition. And then rashes down my arms, on my chest. And the worst part about this is when you're working as stressful of a job as nursing. There we go. They quieted. Yeah, when you're working as stressful a job as nursing, especially with eczema, stress triggers it. So it was just making it even worse. And when your symptoms, in my opinion, if you have a skin issue and it starts growing on your body, there's something really wrong. In my opinion, it was my skin, my body was trying to tell me something, and that was pretty much to stop what I was doing. And when you're working 12-hour shifts and you're working 3 or 4 in a row and you go home to sleep and you can't sleep because every hour you're waking up scratching yourself until you're bleeding because your skin is so irritated, it makes your job, your life, everything really hard. And when you're walking into work and your coworkers are like, "What's wrong with you?" They're looking at you like you're a patient, and your patients are looking at you like, "You're gonna take care of me? You look sick." It's not a good look, and it's not a good feeling. So that is numero uno why I quit nursing. Number 2, many of you can relate to this depending on what field you're in, the workload. And I know some of you trolls in the comment section are going to be like, "You're being a baby, just get over it, work hard." That is the exact mentality I'm talking about that's toxic in nursing is, oh yeah, our work is it's just expected of us to do this super hard work that most people in society would never ever even consider doing. And we have to walk into work every day with a smile on our face and on our A game, and we can never make a mistake. That kind of mentality, like you're literally playing, this is the difference from playing on a high school varsity team, which could be like equivalated to an office job, versus playing in the professionals, which is nursing and healthcare. You have to show up every day, A game, ready to go. If you make a mistake, doctor's yelling at you. And this kind of workload triggers a visceral response in the body if you don't have the right coping mechanisms. And I know many people who do have the right coping mechanisms, and compared to my coworkers when I was in the field, my coping mechanisms were amazing, but I still burnt out. And so the workload, the constant, especially if you're working ICU, and I know many of you are going to say, why did you work ICU as such a new nurse? I wanted the challenge at that point in my life. I was fresh, ready to go. But yeah, you're right. I burned out pretty quickly. But the constant patient turning, having to lift and move really heavy patients, 400 plus pounds sometimes. You're basically a social worker, even though you have social workers helping you, but you become a social worker, you become a psychologist, you become a glorified waitress. The list goes on of all the things nurses have to do. You have to chart all the time. The workload, the multitasking, our minds are not meant to multitask. And the multitasking in nursing is absolutely ridiculous. Like, you are answering the phone, running to the bathroom, running to get Jell-O for the diabetic patient who keeps demanding it. It just never ends. And the workload builds stress in your body, and it makes it really hard to do your job. Number 3, seeing what my coworkers had become. This is a tough one because I loved my coworkers, a lot of them, but a lot of them were obese, jaded, angry, not healthy at all, eating donuts in the break room at 2 a.m., bringing them for everyone to also eat with them. And the other thing is also, like, when your coworkers are telling you, and this is not many of them, but they're telling you, like, oh, you're gonna lose your compassion the more you do this career. You're so new. You're not gonna be this happy later on. That for me was just, why would I be in a career where people are saying that? Like, I wanna be in a career where people are boosting me up and telling me that I can do it and that this career is fun. And I know some of you in the comments are gonna say, a job is a job and you're not supposed to enjoy it. That's complete bullshit. I don't agree with that at all. I think that we have one life, so why not try and go down the career avenue that brings you the most fun you can possibly have? Of course, you're not gonna like your job some days. It's work. That's what it's called, work, for a reason. But I don't think that you should not enjoy your profession. I think that's BS. And so I found it hard just staying in a career where everyone in the profession is burnt out and angry. I don't want to do that. I don't want to become that. So that's another reason why I left. Number 4, my values didn't align with the career anymore. And I got into nursing to care for others. I talk with my friend Dave Soltal. He is a nurse with a lot of experience, and he has a business on nurse entrepreneurship. He basically says that a certain type of personality is often attracted to nursing, which is the people that want to rescue the victim. I can definitely see that being me. I jumped into nursing because I cared so much for other people, and oftentimes we as nurses care so much for other people that what happens? We put them before us. We put them before us in every aspect. Our job becomes our identity. All of that. And on top of that, for me, I don't agree with the pill pushing, with the pharmaceutical industry. To me, it just does not add up to quality health. I do not want to see the patient that I just saw next week. I want to fix them or give them the tools they need to fix themselves and send them on their way. I don't want them coming back. And sadly, the values of our healthcare system are for profit, and they are not for long-term preventative health in order to create a country of people thriving and living the lives they want. It's business. And so for me, I couldn't do it anymore. For me, that did not align with my values. And if you don't agree with my reasoning, that's completely fine. Your values are different than mine. I don't expect you to have the same values, and I'm not judging you if you have different values. This is just the reason why I couldn't do it anymore. And while you are grabbing your popcorn at home, go ahead and leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Helps the algorithm, helps me share the message, and help more healthcare professionals. Number 5. I truly believed that I could find an avenue of a profession where I could help more people. And what ended up happening when I left nursing, I went on a self-discovery journey, a journey of healing. And what I found was this business, healthcare stress relief. And I created it because of my dear coworker, Brian, which I'll talk about later. I created the business to help people who really need the help. In healthcare, I find that the environment is often, like I said earlier, it can be toxic. It can be, this is just how it is. Suck it up, work harder, and you'll be fine. And I don't think that's conducive to our mental health. And I personally started this business to help people through that, help people with their mental health, help people become more connected to their self-care and their self-love. That's why I started this business, because it's not happening right now. There aren't enough people helping our healthcare workers, and there aren't enough people advocating for our healthcare workers. Who heals the healer? That's the big question. So that's why I started this business. Number 6, this was a big one for me, the suicide of my coworker and friend, Brian. Brian was very burnt out. He was an extremely talented musician, and I saw a lot in the guy. He had a very jaded sense of humor. Him and I got along. Him and I laughed a lot. I remember one time he got mad because the guy at the taco truck, there was a taco truck near our hospital, and he called for lunch, and the guy at the taco truck called him boss, and he got really mad on the phone and said, if you're not paying my check, don't call me boss. And yeah, that was Brian in a nutshell. And a very funny guy, but he was so lost. He was so lost. He was so stuck in his own head, and unfortunately for him, his house had burned down 2 years before in a fire that devastated the surrounding area, and he lost a lot of his material possessions, and for him that was everything he had, and just shot him down a spiral of negative thinking, and he couldn't get out of it, and he ended up committing suicide. And when I saw that, and when I went to his service and we all talked about him, and management basically told us what we wanted to hear, and they're like, please, if you feel this way, please tell us. And then 2 weeks later, we don't hear anything about it ever again. Like no one's talking about him again. And for me, no, I'm not gonna go down that path. I was already burning out. I'm not gonna allow my mental state to get so bad that I end up like Brian. It's a no-brainer. And yeah, I'm still shocked about what Brian did. I try and look at it more optimistically, because he's the reason I started this business. So thank you, Brian. Rest in power. Number 7, lost compassion and burnout. As we already know, the 3 signs of burnout: emotional fatigue, jadedness, loss of compassion, and lack of purpose, lack of a sense of purpose. Had all of those. Was really, when I was working, I just felt like, why am I doing this some days? And it got really hard. And for me, like I said in my other video, if you start to lose your compassion, and I know some of you say, I don't show up compassionate at all and I do fine. Yeah, you can be more objective, but I don't think that the best care can be provided if there's no compassion, because we as humans, when we're sick, we want somebody who's going to nurture us. If you don't have any compassion left, like, you're a robot, right? So I started to become a robot, just started to go through the motions, not really waking up with a sense of purpose that this is the work that I need to be doing for society. And if you don't have that, you're just going to be stuck in complacency. And I was stuck in complacency. I was sick. I really just did not like my life anymore. And I was getting super depressed. And yeah, burnout will eat you alive if you don't do something about it. So if this is you, do something about it. Reach out to somebody, myself included. Start learning new practices to take care of yourself. There will be plenty of new videos on this channel to help you with that, meditation, breath work, etc. And yeah, just do not allow yourself to accept the fact that burnout is inevitable in healthcare. It should not be. We should be more focused on prevention and reduction. Number 8, to get back on my purpose, I felt I needed a sense of clarity. And this is something I encourage for some of you. If you have the financial means to do so, and if you have your finances dialed in, which you should be able to take a little bit of time off if you need to. Or if you have an employer that provides the benefits, you should take the time off for your mental health. When I quit nursing before I started this business, I took a significant amount of time off, months, just to de-stress, work on healing myself, process all the crap I went through. I think it's extremely important. In our 9-to-5 society that tells you retire when you're 65 and then you'll have a blast when your hip is messed up and you're too old to even travel, you're basically told that you should work like a mule until you can retire. And I don't agree with this. I think you should have time in your life where you have periods of reflection. If you're always working your whole entire life, every week, Monday through Friday, and you never really have time off, I'm not talking time off to go on a vacation and drink mojitos and just basically drown out all of your feelings with alcohol for 2 weeks, and you only look forward to that once every year. I'm talking like actually taking time off for yourself and asking, is this what I really want? That's really important, but we don't talk about that in society. We basically say, get your degree, work, retire. Yeah, no, thank you. Number 9, my personality. I do not like being micromanaged whatsoever. And in healthcare in particular, you have people micromanaging you for everything. Like the managers have not worked in clinicals for 10 years and they're telling you how to do things. And yes, respect your elders, respect the people who have gone through it before, but sometimes these people are just telling you things that their management is telling them. They have no skin in the game at all in terms of bedside care. And they're telling you this, and you're like, well, I actually care about the patient. I'm actually the one doing the work for the patient. And you're telling me to do something different out of the interest of the patient? Come on. Like, no, that doesn't work for me. And a lot of people, they actually do like the structure of being managed and stuff like that. That's why I jumped into entrepreneurship, because I don't like being micromanaged. I like being my own boss. I just found the micromanagement and the blaming you for wanting to take time for yourself to feel better and healthy so you can provide the best care for your patients. That's bad in terms of management because they're understaffed. That's the blame tactic they use to make you feel bad and come into work. And I remember one day my manager, we get this new manager and she was terrible, absolutely terrible. She comes in and I hurt my back. And I know some of you may think I'm a baby because I'm talking about this stuff and I'm complaining a little bit, but I'm just openly sharing my story with you guys. And I'm not a baby when it comes to working. I usually show up, I work really, really hard, and I help my team. My team is everything to me. And what I found was this manager comes in and I hurt my back, and I never usually complain about pain. I have a pretty high pain tolerance, and I really jacked up my back. I went to the chiropractor and he adjusted me wrong. And then I come into work and I lift this 400-pound patient and I throw out my back. And I start sweating while I'm charting, and like I can barely walk. And so I'm in a lot of pain, and I felt bad even leaving. Like a relief nurse had to come in and take my spot, and I felt terrible, which I shouldn't because it's my body, right? But yeah, we feel terrible for letting people down. What does my manager tell me? She calls me, and she's not calling me to check up and be like, hey, do whatever you need to get better and then come back to us. She calls me and she's like, hey, I really need you in tomorrow. Go ahead and just pop 2 Tylenol and you'll be good. That's what she said. Pop 2 Tylenols and you'll be good. Come on. Like, yeah, I do not want to work for somebody who does not put their interest in me. And I know that there are a lot of hospitals that have good managers. Sadly, there are few and far between, because from what I'm hearing from all of the YouTube comments and all of the nurses I talk to, management usually sucks. It's just how it is. And so if you are a manager, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out to step up and to not be that person, to be the person that actually encourages self-care, and to not just say everything's a problem because you're understaffed. Well, then hire more people. Thank you. Ciao. Number 10, the biggest one, lack of self-love. I stopped loving myself enough. I stopped caring for myself enough. I stopped putting myself first and started putting my profession first. And this leads to, for me, it led to self-hatred. It led to depression. It led to me not enjoying life anymore. Me not actually liking myself. Me waking up in the mirror being like, what the f*** are you doing? And, no, just don't ever let that happen. Do not start hating yourself. Just don't do it. Now I love myself more than ever. That's why I can say that I did hate myself. But when I was in it then, I was just living in a cycle of this is how life is supposed to be. And now that I love myself significantly, I can say that I really did not love myself before, because I was not taking care of myself before. And so self-love for me, it's a huge deal. It's something I work on with my one-on-one clients, going back to our traumas, why we're feeling the way we're feeling, and releasing all of that. It's really important. It's personal work that I've done that's significantly changed my life, and it's work that I know will help you. And finally, number 11, I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to work for myself, and I wanted to challenge myself in a different area. Nursing is really challenging. I proved to myself that I could do that, and it didn't work out for me because it wasn't aligned with me. And so that led me to entrepreneurship. And I truly believe that if I didn't go down this journey, and a lot of people in the comment sections of my last video, they're saying like, oh, do you feel like what you did was just a waste of time? Absolutely not. If I did not go through my nursing journey, I would never have been able to help healthcare workers, because I would not know how to communicate with you guys. I wouldn't know the ins and outs of the problems that are going on in the system. And for me, yeah, I went through a lot of pain, but this is just textbook. It's perfect. Like, I went through all of that pain, so now I can help people that are going through that pain. And for the first time in a long time, I can say I'm truly on my path. I feel like I was put on earth for this, and I want to help you. So if you are dealing with any of the issues that I talked about in this video, feel free to reach out. I have a free stress less call. The link will be in the description below, and we can chat for 30 minutes, see if I can help you and what you need to be doing differently. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys. We have gone up from about 50 subscribers to nearly 800 in just the span of, I think, 1 month. Absolutely insane. And one of the videos has gotten 67,000 views. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. And take care. Stay strong, Healthcare Squad. Talk to you later.